CFR Network, CFR Sports. Good day, good night to all. Welcome back. Special guest with me, all the way from across the pond in sunny or rainy Sunshine State, Florida. We have Mike Beast Boy Davies with me. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. How art thou?
Everything's going well. It's a pleasure to be on your show for once.
You're very much welcome, and I appreciate you taking the time, carving out time of your schedule to spend a little bit of time with me to unpack the excitements, the highs, the lows, the human experience. So, I mean, I gave you a very, very brief introduction. Some of my combat sports listeners will know exactly who you are, but some may not. Some might be thinking, UFC, what's this guy, a fighter? So please fill in the blanks there. Give yourself a bit more of an introduction.
So my name is Mike Davis. I've been just given the name Beast Boy when I started MMA. I fight for the UFC, which is the #1 MMA mixed martial arts organization on the planet, top 1%. I'm currently 10-2 as a professional, 3-fight win streak in the UFC, which is one of the hardest things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm here on your podcast.
Excellent.
I turn 30 years old tomorrow. I turned 30. Oh my God.
Wow.
Like the big tipping stone.
This is it. Well, all right, then how do you actually, age-wise, obviously, so it's going to be 30 years on this plane of existence, but how old do you actually feel?
20.
Yeah.
The only thing that hurts on my body is, my old back sometimes. And it's from it's from years of wrestling. So, but that's it. Everything else, I feel young. I feel fragile, or not fragile, but like loose.
Yes.
Perfect. I feel perfect. I feel like I'm 20 years old, and I act like I'm 20 years old.
This is it. Young at heart, young at mind, and everything in between. I totally get it. I still feel, and I'm a little bit older than yourself, I still feel around the same sort of age, around the 20, 21, that sort of periods. It's strange. I mean, I do feel a lot more wiser, most definitely. But in regards to feeling like a 40-plus-year-old, I don't know about that.
That's good. No, that's good.
So yeah, excellent. So what have you got anything special planned for your born day?
I feel like there's a lot planned. I'm going to some fancy dinner tomorrow, and then Saturday, my mom wants to go on a casino cruise, so I'll be going there. Sunday, we're doing a dinner with the family. And Monday is my grandma's birthday, so hopefully we'll just do everything on Sunday. Be nice.
Give thanks. Yes, most definitely to have special day so close to the matriarch of the family. That's excellent. That's excellent. Yeah. Future birthday greetings, and you'll have trustfully a wonderful time. Most definitely. So you mentioned, and as we know, that the moniker Beast Boy. How did what made them give you that titleage when you joined the gym?
Oh, so when I was training up in Saratoga, New York, I was finally at an established MMA gym. It was actually a karate gym, but they did jiu-jitsu. So it was a Kantakuto karate, Kyokushin karate, Brazilian beat jiu-jitsu, and then they had judo as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is like a full-on facility. So when we were getting ready for one of my fights when I was 16, I was given a boxer to see how well I could stand against a boxer. And I did really, really well because I've already been boxing before.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're like, okay, let's put him against a wrestler. And I out-wrestled the wrestler. They're like, whoa, okay, let's put him against a grappler. And I out-grappled the grappler. So there's a guy there named Eric. And Eric was watching me adapt to everything that was thrown at me. And he's like, man, this kid's like a beast boy. He just changes to whatever he needs to do in order to win. And I was like, dang. And then it stuck. it stood with me ever since.
Crazy. And do you historically come from a wrestling grappling background, like most Americans kind of do enter the sports, or?
Yeah. I started with boxing, but like a month after, I started wrestling simultaneously.
Hmm.
So I've been wrestling a lot, and that's something that the UFC and people out there don't know about me, is that I have a very big wrestling background, and I showed it in my last fight, but
100%, sir.
that was very small amount of it. I didn't even use a big arsenal of my wrestling. That was just like 2 different types of takedowns out of the hundreds that I know. So I didn't really use my wrestling.
That seems to be your opponent's sort of Achilles heel, as they would say. I mean, he's a very good striker and stuff, but when it comes to being taken down, he's almost like a fish out of water kind of thing.
But I was so surprised because I did watch his Mark, I think it's
DeCasey.
DeCasey. Okay. Mark DeCasey. I watched that fight. I watched him get hooks in and get wizard and fight back against the cage. But when I grabbed around his body, he was like a child. So I really don't know.
Can I point something out to you, sir? I would like to point something out to you, kind sir. I don't know what kind of strength and conditioning training you're doing, but we can see a remarkable change physique-wise. So yeah, I think that the added strength gave you yeah, man.
I didn't get a lot bigger. Ever since the Mason Jones fight, I was just like, you know what? I can't hold this kid down. I took him down and I was just trying to slow him down. I had the striking upper hand, but I was just trying to slow him down because he kept pressuring me and I didn't want to be pressured the whole fight. So when I took him down, he was immediately getting back up and I was like, damn, this kid's stronger than me.
Yeah.
So after that fight, I just focused on getting strong enough to hold down 155ers.
Mason is a tough character. Yeah. I had him on the broadcast, I think towards the start of the old lockdown a few years back.
Good. I'm surprised he didn't want to stay in the UFC.
You know what? These organizations and stuff, I've noticed with a lot of the UK fighters who are in Bellator or the UFC, if they're not making, I don't know, this is just from what I can see from the outside, if they're not a quote unquote Conor McGregor, I guess, you have to be very, very, very impressive kind of thing. And in essence, not lose because I don't know, it's strange.
No, but he didn't choose to re-sign a contract. He fought out his contract. I mean, yes, he has 2 losses on it, but they like him. The UFC definitely likes him. I think he's doing the right thing because right now everyone's leaving the UFC. They're exploring free agency, which I don't blame him at all for. But I was just curious.
Well, if you look at it as, it is. It's and as you say, the premier #1 mixed martial arts promotion in the world. Everyone, for the casuals, UFC is the sport rather than mixed martial arts. So, based upon that, you would think, and it's a topic of discussion which always rears its head up, fighters pay? You would think that UFC fighters will be outshining the majority of the promotions, but Bellator are pretty much paying quite a lot. BKFC are paying a fair bit amount of money for these fighters, and they're not necessarily in their prime as well, Mike. It's literally just name value that they're purchasing.
Yeah, I get that. I get that a lot.
So I guess it's a decision where, okay, am I comfortable, having, let's say, a 60-60, opportunity with the UFC and everyone know me? Or maybe I'll fight in Bellator, potentially a little less competition, depending on what weight class you're in, and get paid maybe 80-80 for my hard work.
I would do that.
This is it. I think in this day and age, you have to be selfish. I mean, it's nice to be In an ideal world, if I was an athlete, I would like to, like in the old days where you'd have fighters bouncing around. Okay, I'm a champion of what BJ Penn did and messed up the whole thing in regards to being a champion and going off and creating your own promotion and fighting in Pride and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what makes number one a good fighter. It creates your legacy. It doesn't tie you down to, oh, this person was just a UFC fighter. No, he fought in UFC. He fought in all of the different promotions and generally had a good record. He may have lost one here or one there, but it's the experience.
Yeah.
And I think more people should take the opportunity. And I think we're kind of seeing people testing that free agency kind of thing.
I see it a lot.
But each to their own, whatever sort of makes you happy in that particular space and that particular time. But yeah. So you're boxing, you're wrestling. Are you consuming MMA as a fan at this point, as a youngster, or is this just part of your athletic endeavors?
I'm not sure. You think you're asking me if I like MMA? Like if I
No, yeah. So was you actually watching it whilst you was wrestling and boxing and stuff?
Oh, back as a kid.
Yeah,
No,
as a young.
not too much. I was mainly learning so I could defend myself from the bullies and not even necessarily fight back, just so they know that I can fight and they will leave me alone. That's all. I just want to be left alone when I was a kid. But I started watching MMA. I think Rashad Evans was champion.
Okay. Yes.
That was the first fight I remember.
Hey. Machida.
Machida was still in the UFC.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
He's my training partner now. Me and him get a lot of good rounds in. Yeah.
And he's doing his thing, man. He's doing his thing. And he had his fight back in Eagle FC as well.
Yeah. I think I just started training with him like 6 months ago.
So what camp are you fighting out of now?
Fusion XL in Orlando.
Okay, so I'm a bit lost when it comes to all of the name changes and stuff. Is that still have its roots and foundation with the Black Zillions?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't know the roots of Fusion XL. I know that Julian came from Paul Rodriguez. Paul Rodriguez is an American Top Team franchise owner. He owns American Top Team East Orlando.
Right.
East Orlando. And that's where I met both of them at Orlando or ATT. This is back when I first got here in 14.
All right then. So we're in the present now. Let's rewind because there's some areas. So you grew up in obviously on the East Coast, but in New York, right?
Yes. Upstate Mountains, New York.
Upstate, okay.
Yeah. Where Mike Tyson. I'm from where Mike Tyson's from. I grew up boxing at the same gym and with the same coaches. Not Teddy Atlas, but and not Custom Auto, but I grew up training with Kevin Rooney, his secondary coach.
So what was it like in the old upstate New York as a youngster?
Boring. Where I grew up, there was nothing to do. I was kind of not poor, but definitely not well off. So I was able to eventually afford a bicycle, and I would just ride my bike from sun up to sundown.
You know what? Most children used to do that. Especially when I was growing up, the bike gave you freedom and access to outside of just the walking distance. Yeah, 100%.
Me and a group of friends, I know them all still very well, and we would take the bikes, we'd go into trails in the woods, get lost for hours, finally come back. Yeah, that was like my favorite thing in the world.
Definitely. We used to do the trips. We used to go in Birmingham. We haven't got much. We've got greenery and stuff. We haven't got woods like that. Not where I lived, at least. So we used to go to the canals. We've got the equivalent to like I think we've got actually more canals than Venice, strangely enough. So we used to just basically find a canal and just just ride and ride and ride. And sometimes we used to like catch fish or stickleback fish in there. It was fun growing up in the 80s. I don't know about what the children are doing these days with technology and stuff, but we were out and out in nature of sorts.
That's not how it is anymore.
Technology, man. But it's a wonderful thing. I mean, without technology, we wouldn't be doing this interview and having this conversation.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of miles. So school life, was that more kind of, were you academically more led, or was you more sports orientated?
I was kind of like survival. School was a way for me to learn pretty much how to live, because I didn't really have anybody at home to teach me. So school is where I went to learn more than anything else.
Okay.
I was a smart kid. I graduated high school at 16, community college, like a 2-year degree at 18. So I was one of the youngest kids throughout my grade. Always just a little nerd, mind my own business.
Nerdy in what areas though? In the academia of what you're learning in school, or was there specific areas that you would sort of quote unquote nerd out on?
I was a big fan of art and biology.
Okay.
Never history. I hate history. I don't care about what happened before I was here, and I don't care. I don't care. So it's so hard for me to pay attention.
They didn't see what you fail to have is a good history teacher who made history almost come to life.
It's just, I don't know, boring.
Yeah, no, I understand. Some people history, because to me there was elements of it that was interesting, but because we wasn't necessarily told, like not even some, a lot of the quote unquote history I've been taught as a child in the 80s and 90s was just like, why would they even say this stuff, man? It's just so inaccurate. But there's a curriculum and you've got to teach these certain things, etc., etc. So creative. So you're clearly a creative if you liked art.
Yeah, and I still can draw. I think I got it from my mom. My mom likes to draw, so it was something I picked up on here and there. In elementary school, now we're going way back, I used to draw pictures of like Digimon. I don't know if you remember Digimon.
Okay,
Pokemon and Digimon. Yeah. And I would sell them to other classmates for $0.25.
See, the cool. Entrepreneurial spirit at such a young age. So elementary, that's like junior school for us, right? That's like 6, 7, them kind of times.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So portraits, so what's your favorite kind of thing? More portrait kind of thing, or is it art scenes like scenery and that kind of stuff?
No, more portraits.
Yeah. Scenery is difficult to do.
Scenery is easy, but there's nothing I ever look at that I just feel inspired to draw.
Okay. Oils, watercolors?
Just pen and pencil.
Okay. I think you're missing out a trick. You're missing out a trick with that, and not dabbling in the oils. It's hard.
I know. I got into an iPad and I started drawing a lot more, but it's not what I want to do. I don't want to sit and draw all day.
Of course not.
There's other things I like.
Most definitely. It's nice to unwind, but it's, as you say, this we have 24 hours in a day, and it's so hard, especially in these days, to pack in the stuff that you want to pack in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'm a gamer. And
Okay.
I spend all my free time right here at this desk, using my computer that I got like 2 months ago, and I just game.
You
And
into that?
probably when we get off of this call, I'm gonna turn on my game because I'm done with interviews.
All right then. So what we doing then? What kind of games? What we got in the in heavy rotation on the gaming PC?
Any kind of battle royale game. So I'm Multiverse is kind of like a battle royale. Rumbleverse is the battle royale version. Then we got Warzone, Fortnite.
Well, wait a minute. Fortnite. That isn't that like a slasher, like first person kind of thing?
That's
Oh,
a third person game.
okay.
Third person battle royale. That's that
okay.
game where you build fortresses. I don't play
Yes.
that mode. Hate it. But I'm good if you don't build anything. So there have modes on it where you can no build mode where you can't do that and you just shoot and it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's fun to me. The new stuff that it's so realistic and you like snipering people off. I'm not into that kind of stuff at all, man. That's a bit too ultra violent to me. Yeah. Okay. You play that as well?
Yeah, that's like the number one game I play.
I guess that's gonna help you with your hand-eye coordination, right?
100%. I think playing video games gives me my reaction time, which is why my head movement's so good.
Definitely. You're clearly clocking them hours then.
Yeah, not as much as like a true gamer.
Of course, yeah.
I definitely play a decent amount.
It really it helps. I mean, I guess would you actually schedule this in, well, I guess you would call this more wine and downtime, isn't it? But if you was in a fight camp, would you adapt any elements throughout your day where it's like, you know what, I'm going to spend an hour on the gaming system so I can, yeah, I didn't think you would.
It's no, it's every day, every single day. So how I ran this fight camp, I would go train 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. That would be my training session for the day. Immediately when I got home, I would grab one of these energy drinks, Ghost, they're my favorite. Oh. And I would sit here and jump on Warzone. I'd play Warzone for like 3 or 4 hours, get off, take a walk, enjoy myself, do whatever I got to do, go get some food, do that, whatever, come home. It's about 8:30. That's when everybody gets off work, get back on Warzone, play until I fall asleep every single day.
Okay.
I didn't train very hard for this fight. I train only once a day. Normally I train 2 or 3. I was training once a day for like 3 hours.
And what was the mindset that made you say you're going to sort of dial it back a bit?
I just wanted to not be consumed with MMA. And that's kind of the mental thing that helped me push through and be ready to fight whoever, was that I wasn't getting consumed by it. And I could turn on the TV and completely forget that I'm fighting, or play video game and completely forget that I'm fighting, which makes it a lot easier for me to be able to cope with what I do for a living.
And that's something I always ask. I mean, competing in a non-televised sort of hall, I guess, pardon self, is, for me, is terrifying enough. But to do it in the biggest stage ever, like, do the nerves ever get to you? Like, how do you?
I feel like they get to everybody, but I've been in people's corners where they're crying and there's people that don't know how to handle it, but they still just find the courage to step into the cage. And once you're in the cage, everything kind of fades away. You're already there. You have to do it. So
yeah.
now you're just pushing through any emotion. But I've seen a lot of people cry.
And I guess it's a mixture of emotions, isn't it?
It's kind of just like, like fear mostly.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing to do. You're about to get locked in a cage where there's another person that's going to try and kill you.
In essence, yeah. It's so commendable. I tip my hat to all combat sports athletes who put their physique and their mental on the line, not just whilst we're being entertained, but the hours upon hours of sparring, of training, of drilling. It's amazing, and you guys should be paid a lot more handsomely than you are, man. It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But it's the beautiful art of prize fighting, I guess. So what's the plan? What's the goals? Are we looking to have fun fights, or is the ultimate goal to get that gold belt and get that championship money and potential sponsorship opportunities? Oh, you're on mute, I think, Mike.